Five Nights at Freddy's. That's where I wanna be. Five Nights at Freddy's. That's where I wanna be. Five Nights.
Man, gets me every time. Jack Black is just the best. But so yeah, Halloween is over. You know, fall season has came. So I figured before the Queen of Christmas thaws out, we might as well cover this last film that came out now before Halloween, Friday Night at Freddy. You know, it wasn't bad. I mean, I didn't really play that many of the games, so I wasn't that much, I didn't know that much about it, but I knew the basics. Man created animatronics and then, you know, was murdering kids, but didn't really know the story of like all the games, how they connected. So of course I kind of looked into it, and then I saw that they were apparently going to make 3 movies. And, you know, this film it was the 3rd best horror debut or whatever. It made like 70 million or whatever on its opening weekend. So, you know, congratulations. But yeah, I guess they're going to make 3 movies of it. And so with this being the first one, I really hope they get a bit more gorier, or I hope there's a bit more death in it, because the only death scenes in this film that were Friday Night at Freddy-esque of why everyone wanted to see this movie, I'm assuming, they weren't really good. They were there like circumstantial deaths, but they weren't like good deaths, right? But so the film takes place at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, and this guy, Mike, ends up getting the job as the new security guard there. And, you know, he's tasked with making sure, like, no one breaks in or anything. And he ends up having these dreams, these crazy dreams, where he goes back to the day when he was younger, and he was a kid, and his brother was abducted. And it's so crazy. His brother gets abducted, or kidnapped, I guess, and all because he decides to go get a Frisbee, and he just keeps, like, taking these sleeping pills to put himself in this crazy-ass REM sleep where he can, like, act in his dreams and like be present in his dreams. It's like crazy whole sub story that's like, I don't think has anything to fucking do with the game, but they had to like have a way to have the deaths happen, and I think it was kind of cheap. I think it was really cheesy and like what the fuck. But so he goes back to these dreams, and he's trying to piece together like what happened to his brother, right? But it's been like fucking years. It's been like 20, 30 years since his brother was abducted. So it's like, it's not like he's going to find really that much information. And if he does, he's not going to be able to really do anything with it, right? It's a really horrible way to live. Anyway, so he ends up dreaming one night at the Freddy Fazbear's, and he ends up seeing these kids and these other kids in his dream. And he's like, you know, what the heck? Why are these kids in my dream? He's trying to talk to him, see if they saw anything with his brother. And, you know, he's very confused as to why he's seeing these kids. Meanwhile, he has this younger sister, and there's this whole theory that like they're actually the kids of the main villain of Five Nights at Freddy's, but we'll get to that later. But so he has this younger sister, and she ends up having these like imaginary friends, and she's like doing all these drawings. It's like, you know, your traditional like Wednesday Addams weird ass little kid that just is okay with talking to fucking spirits. And she says that she's got these like friends, imaginary friends. They're like her best friends, her only friends. And she ends up going with him to Freddy's one night because he doesn't have a sitter. And she ends up meeting the animatronics and all the bears. And it's like, she's totally fine with it. She's like, cool, look, these bears are like moving on their own. And it's like, nah, girl, like, what the fuck? This is freaky. Like, you know, Mike's like, is anyone controlling these? Like, what the heck? And it turns out that the kids in his dreams are actually the ghosts of the kids that were murdered at that pizzeria by this man, William Afton. William Afton was the man that created the animatronics, and it's said to believe that possibly Mike and Abby are actually his children, and that he had kidnapped his own child, which was Garrett, Mike's brother, and there's this whole like love triangle between him and his partner, and you know, Mike and Garrett's mom, and you know, Abby's mom subsequently. It's this whole like random thing. There's some theory videos on it that I had watched, but it's like, you know, now that I know the lore of the game, it's like, wow, okay. I mean, I did call that the daughter, that the female cop in the movie was William Afton's daughter, but I did not see it coming that William Afton was going to be the agency counselor that gets Mike the job at the pizzeria. Definitely didn't call that. Like, oh, what a twist. M. Night Shyamalan over here. But so, rewind the clock a little bit. The whole reason he had to bring Abby to the pizzeria was because his babysitter got killed because his babysitter was part of this little gang that tried to break into Freddy Fazbear's that ended up being all of the deaths in the trailer. Like all the deaths in the trailer were from this stupid group of kids and one adult that went in and got spooked by these animatronics and just died. Like, I mean, they could have probably got out or got away, but they just died and were overcame by these animatronics pretty much. And the only reason that happened is because Abby and Mike's aunt is like crazy and she wants to take custody over Abby because she doesn't think Mike is, capable enough to take care of her. She sees him as a degenerate. So because she hires this random teen and like gang to like keep tabs on him and to babysit his kid and to do all this bullshit to find dirt on him, she ends up subsequently sending them to their deaths, which end up leading to her death, which ends up leading to Abby ending up at the pizzeria. So it was a lot of like bullshit that they had to like fabricate to get it all into place. So I really wish that there was some other ways. I mean, I don't know what could have happened, but there could have just been other ways to have people die. They could have done it like Willy's Wonderland, where people are just breaking in to stop the animatronics and then end up getting into some shit. Like it would instead of like these kids just breaking in to harm the job of Mike, like the guy that's working there, like this whole side story. It was just so random. But and like I said, at the end, you find out that William Afton was actually the counselor, the agency counselor that got Mike the job, and that he just likes killing kids, and he just wanted to make sure that this place wasn't destroyed for whatever fucking reason. Like, it's like, just let it all go, bro. You killed the kids, you got away with it. The place is obviously not up and running, but throughout the games, they always get reopened and revitalized, all the Freddy Fazbear's variations and of the restaurant. So it's like, it could come back. I mean, at one point, I think it goes digital, so it's like, I could see the sequel obviously taking more into consideration like all the big baby aspects, the suit, the animatronic suit that crushes you, the fucking deagonizer or whatever the fuck. Like, I'm pretty sure the sequel will add more answers to these questions, or maybe even add more questions, and then the third movie hopefully will like tie it all together. But as a whole, I really think this movie should have been rated R. It could have done way more. And the amount of we were in a packed theater, and the fact that all the kids were cheering over like the YouTubers and like random fucking scenes of like these people that I had never heard of. I know Markiplier didn't get his skit, but some Kenshi guy, the black dude YouTuber, got like all these kids were like cheering when William Afton like came out and showed his face. Everyone was cheering. It was just like, damn. Like, my breath was taken away. I was like, I can't believe that this has that much of a following. Like, I mean, this movie should have came out forever ago, I feel like. I don't know. We should be on the third movie already. I mean, it's just, it's interesting. I guess maybe this is definitely signs of COVID, right? Maybe this would have came out in like 2019 and we'd already be on the third movie. But I don't know. It was interesting. I definitely enjoyed it, but I think it could have been gorier or crazier or had more deaths than just the weird paranormalness of the fucking dreamscape. I mean, if Freddy would have popped in, that would have been great. If Freddy Krueger would have popped in and then fucking, started fighting Freddy or the kids, I'd have been down. I'd have been like, oh shit, look at this collab. But nah, that didn't happen. I don't see that happening because Hollywood's not that creative and that daring and that ballsy. But anyway, I digress. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Definitely, I'm excited to see the sequel. I'll have to check out some of the games, but Friday Night at Freddy's, check it out. Tell me what you thought. Like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. And yeah, follow us here. Thanksgiving's around the corner. Get ready for some turkey. Woo!